We hear the slow tick of a clock. Faint. Then, the clatter of coins. A soft thud of a wooden box closing. Footsteps on a wooden floor. A single lantern glows. Hands move quickly over neat stacks of paper notes and coins, scooping them into a bag. On a warm night in the late summer of 1798, in a young country called the United States of America, someone found the perfect way to steal a fortune. Without breaking a single lock, without picking a single safe, and without leaving a single broken window behind. The hands pause. A key turns in a lock, smooth, clean, practiced. This is the story of the first great bank heists in American history. Not Hollywood fiction. Not Robin Hood legends. Real people. Real money. Real consequences. And it all begins with a key. Early America. Cobbled streets. Horse-drawn carts. Men in coats and tricorn hats, women in long dresses. No skyscrapers, no cars, just a busy colonial city. In 1798, Philadelphia is not just a city. It is one of the political and financial hearts of the new republic. An elegant 18th century brick building. Inside this building, Carpenter's Hall, stands the Bank of Pennsylvania. Not protected by lasers or steel vault doors, but by trust, thick walls, and the confidence of men who believed they could recognize a criminal when they saw one. Bank clerks open shutters. Dust motes drift in the light. A senior clerk walks toward his secure room with a ledger under his arm. He unlocks a door, steps inside, and freezes. On the morning of September 1st, 1798, the employees of the Bank of Pennsylvania open their vault, and the numbers no longer add up. The clerk opens a chest. It's almost empty. More than $160,000 is missing. In today's money, that's several millions, gone overnight. Another clerk checks the door. The lock is intact. No damage. The locks, they've not been forced. No broken doors. No smashed chests. The money has vanished, but nothing looks disturbed. Which leads to one chilling conclusion. Someone had a key. Meet Patrick Lyon. A skilled blacksmith. Honest work. Long hours. And, as fate would have it, the man who recently repaired the bank's locks. A man in respectable clothing, perhaps a bank official, approaches. In the eyes of the anxious bankers and the authorities, this simple fact becomes everything. He worked on the locks. The locks were not broken. The money is gone. Conclusion? The blacksmith must be the thief. Lyon insists he is innocent. He swears he has no idea what happened inside that vault. But fear does something to people. To bank directors worried about their reputations. To officials terrified of a scandal. To a young nation trying to prove it can control crime and chaos. Lyon is arrested. Thrown into jail. Held for months. No jury has convicted him. No evidence places him at the scene that night. But he is poor. A tradesman. And that makes him a convenient suspect. This is the other side of the first great American bank heists. The story of not just stolen money, but stolen freedom. We see two men in finer clothes, clerks, or people with access, moving calmly through the bank after hours. They use keys, open doors, access chests. No force. No panic. Just quiet, deliberate theft. As time passes, suspicion begins to shift. Rumors spread. Stories emerge. The more investigators look, the more it appears the theft could not have been committed by an outsider at all. These men know the layout, the routines, the locations of the funds. Eventually, the truth surfaces. The crime was orchestrated from inside. Insiders, people with authorized access, have used forged or duplicated keys to enter the vault and remove the funds. Patrick Lyon is released. He is not only declared innocent, but he later sues for his wrongful imprisonment. In a country that prides itself on liberty and justice, his case becomes an early lesson in what happens when fear outweighs fairness. The Bank of Pennsylvania heist is often called the first major bank robbery in American history. It reveals three uncomfortable truths. Number 1. The greatest threats don't always come from the shadows outside, but from the people inside the building. Number 2. Technology, locks, keys, vaults, is only as strong as the trust behind it. And number 3. When money goes missing, someone has to be blamed. And that someone is not always the person who actually did it. Fast forward 3 decades. The year is 1831. New York City is booming. Ships deliver goods from around the world. Merchants, traders, and bankers turn fortunes over ledgers and handshakes. Here, on a narrow street called Wall Street, money has begun to concentrate in a way the young nation has never seen before. Inside this building sits the City Bank of New York, a powerful institution managing the wealth of merchants, traders, and investors. Every night, when the shutters close and the doors are locked, today's wealth is supposed to wait safely for tomorrow. Except, on one particular night in March, it doesn't. Darkness. Moonlight streams through high windows. A door. A key slides in. It turns with a soft, confident click. The door opens. 2 figures step inside, moving swiftly but calmly. This time, there is no crowd of riders. No masked men shouting commands. No gunfire. Just a set of keys. And a plan. The figures move through the bank, opening inner doors. They reach a secure vault room. Another key. Another clean turn. Inside, cash, banknotes, securities, neatly arranged. Waiting. By the time they finish, they have taken around $245,000 in cash and securities. In modern terms, that's the equivalent of tens of millions of dollars. Clerks open the doors, sweep floors, prepare for the day. The routine feels normal until someone checks the vault. A clerk unlocks the door, steps inside, and stops. The bank's officers are stunned. The vault is not smashed. The doors are intact. The locks show no damage. But the money is gone. They face the nightmare of every financial institution. If the public finds out the bank's vault can be opened as easily as a front door, what will happen to trust? To deposits? To the bank itself? A modest office. A police official spreads out notes and sketches. Across from him sits a bank representative. The authorities begin to investigate. No forced entry suggests what investigators dread: an inside job or a sophisticated duplication of keys. In an era before forensic science, before CCTV, before even basic fingerprinting, solving a crime often comes down to informants, observation, and luck. Rumors ripple through the city. A massive theft on Wall Street. But details remain closely guarded. The bank does not want to panic. Eventually, the trail leads to 2 men. Well-dressed, respectable on the surface. Their names are often given as William J. Murray and James Honeyman. They have aliases, connections, and, crucially, access to the bank's keys. As searches are conducted, something remarkable is found. A portion of the stolen funds, hidden in trunks, tucked under clothing, stored as quietly as they were taken. In time, enough evidence collects. The 2 men are arrested. The case moves to trial. The City Bank heist rivets the city. This isn't a pocket picked in a marketplace, or a highway robbery on a dark road. This is a blow struck at the heart of New York's financial system. Testimony describes how keys were copied or improperly secured. How trust and negligence open doors as surely as any crowbar. We see a judge, stern, delivering the sentence. 5 years in Sing Sing prison. Some of the stolen money is recovered, but not all of it. A significant portion simply disappears, absorbed into the world through new deals, new identities, new lives. The 1831 Citibank robbery becomes one of the first famous bank heists in American history. It forces bankers to confront a harsh reality. If money can be stolen silently, with nothing more than a key and a calm walk through the dark, then no amount of stone or wood is enough. Security begins to change. More careful control of keys, better vault designs, stronger procedures for who holds what and when. But there is another, quieter change as well. In the public imagination, the idea of a bank robber begins to take shape. Not just a thug with a pistol, but a clever, calculating figure who can outwit the richest men in the city. Yet, for all their sophistication, these early heists still have something in common. They avoid confrontation. They happen at night in silence. That's about to change. By the mid-1860s, America is a different country. The Civil War has just torn the nation apart. Veterans, guns, and trauma are everywhere. Railroads and banks spread across the frontier. And into this world rides a new kind of criminal. Not the silent key holder in the night, but the outlaw who walks through the front door in broad daylight. In the town of Liberty, Missouri, sits the Clay County Savings Association, a small bank, like many others in the growing West. On a February day in 1866, everything appears normal. Inside the bank, clerks tally numbers. Outside, horses stand tied, waiting. Then, in an instant, normal disappears. Hands go to holsters. Pistols flash. This is one of the first widely known, armed, daytime bank robberies in the United States. No shadows. No midnight keys. Just guns, fear, and speed. The outlaws force clerks to open the safe. They grab cash and bonds. As the outlaws break away, chaos erupts. Some townspeople give chase. Shots are fired. In the chaos, a bystander, a young college student, is struck and killed. This is the cost of doing crime in broad daylight. The Liberty robbery doesn't just steal money. It shatters any illusion that banks are safe simply because they are public and busy. For generations, the Liberty robbery has been associated with names that would become legendary in American outlaw history. Jesse and Frank James. Whether every detail lines up perfectly by modern historical standards is debated. But the robbery plays a central role in the mythology of the James brothers and the so-called James Younger gang. It marked the start of a new era. Bank robbery not just as a crime of stealth, but as a spectacle of force. An act of defiance, even rebellion, in the eyes of some. While the West tells stories of guns, smoke, and galloping horses. Back in the East, bank robbers are evolving in another direction. They are becoming more organized, more patient, more methodical. And in 1878, one of the largest urban bank robberies of the 19th century will prove it. Unlike the Liberty raid, the Manhattan Savings robbery is not about quick terror. It's about planning. The robbers cultivate an inside contact. They study the layout. They watch the comings and goings. When the night comes, they have keys, information, and time. They subdue a watchman, move to the vault, and work inside the shadows. By the end of the job, they have taken an estimated $2.5 to $3 million in cash and securities, a staggering sum for its day. No gunfights in the street. No dramatic chase through town. Just a near-perfect choreography of inside knowledge and criminal skill. From Philadelphia in 1798, to Wall Street in 1831, to Liberty, Missouri in 1866, and New York again in 1878. Each of these heists changes something. Banks learn to guard their keys more closely, to design safer vaults, to hire guards and, eventually, to use electric alarms and cameras. Law enforcement learns to cooperate across cities and states, to track financial instruments, not just physical cash. And the public learns something too. That banks, these solid, imposing buildings, are not invincible. So, which one of these is the first big bank heist in American history? It depends on what you mean by first. Is it the first major bank robbery by amount? The Bank of Pennsylvania in 1798 is a strong candidate. Is it the first big heist in a major financial center that shocks Wall Street? Then the 1831 City Bank of New York robbery stands out. If you mean the first famous armed daylight raid, the kind that looks like a Western movie, that's Liberty, Missouri, in 1866. In truth, there isn't just one. First, there are milestones. Each early heist lays a stone in the path that leads to the modern idea of bank robbery. Behind every headline figure, every dollar amount, are people. A blacksmith wrongfully jailed because he happened to work on a lock. Clerks who suddenly fear for their jobs, their reputations, their futures. A young man in Liberty who never makes it home, caught in the path of men chasing money. And the robbers themselves, some driven by greed, others by resentment, others by the simple belief that they are smarter than the system. Today, most of us will never set foot inside a traditional bank vault. Our money exists in lines of code, secured by encryption instead of iron bars. But the questions first raised by those early heists are still with us. How do we protect what we value? Whom do we trust with access? And what happens to our systems and to innocent people when that trust is broken? In the end, all it took to change American banking forever was not a bomb, not a trainload of dynamite, just a key handed to the wrong person, a key copied when no one was looking, a key that opened not only vault doors, but a new chapter in the history of crime. The first great bank heists in American history were not just about stolen money. They were about how a young nation learned, sometimes painfully, that even its strongest institutions can be opened if someone can find the right lock and the right moment to turn the key.